Okay, I'm back. Testing, testing. Let me make sure I'm good before I get to this thing. Okay, okay. So, so a couple things. The album itself, nobody that, correct me if I'm wrong. When albums come out nowadays, or when a song comes out, let's say your favorite artist drops a record, when it comes out, that's it. You may get you a remix, and these days, I think my brother spoke on this earlier this morning when it came to Mariah Carey. Like you're not even getting a remix where they just taking the record and making it into a whole new record. You're getting like, oh, let's throw a feature on there that maybe Lotto didn't need. Maybe the record was good by itself, and now you just got this long ass record. Ain't nobody gonna hear the feature verse in the club anyway. Or maybe the feature verse is better, and now we don't hear the regular artist record anymore or verse anymore. We just skip directly to the feature, but you're not even getting the full, like P. Diddy, we invented the remix no more. Like you just getting a little add on so they can keep getting people to listen to it in the third week, fourth week to get whatever numbers they trying to get and move forward. So like when the record drops, that's it. It's like, okay, go back to the lab, cook up, drop something else, and it's like it's an old business model. It's not profitable. We see it's not profitable just from, artists having a bunch of different ventures and stuff like that. But one of the things that's not happening is artists aren't taking the feedback for how we feel about records, going back, changing things, and giving us the record how we want it. And when you look at Yay, he has created a pattern of listening to what the streets say, listening to what the fans say, going back to the lab, fixing stuff, doing stuff, tweaking stuff, and bringing it back. Now it's like when the Vultures rollout first happened and the album kept getting pulled and it kept getting dropped and kept getting pulled, kept getting dropped. Um, I would say I was slightly annoyed, but the more I thought about it, I think I'm I think I was annoyed because of the convenience that we have of getting records these days. Like you just go on the app, it's in there. Oh, if I put it in a playlist, and it gets removed, it's removed from the playlist. I got to put it back in the playlist. It's a convenience thing. I'm not taking into consideration, oh, this is independent, somebody's trying to fuck with the distribution. I'm not taking into consideration, oh, somebody's trying to sue for this record, so let's pull it until we figure out the logistics. Like, or I'll give you the biggest one that happened this week was the Everybody record, which is probably gonna be on Vultures too. They took Lil Baby off. And like Lil Baby need to come off of a lot of songs right now because Lil Baby he didn't hit that fall off point. He was talking about Migos, like he really had the juice, and really, he's non-existent right now. Singles is terrible, features is terrible. Pull Little Baby off these records. He is not adding any value to these records. Um, so that happened, and I wish they would have took him off of Hurricane because I don't like his verse on Hurricane at all. Um, but I say all that to say nobody is going through and hearing what the fans are saying, hearing what the streets are saying, and saying, all right, well, on my flight to Europe, I'm going to go in the lab and I'm going to change some things. I'm going to add an ending to this, whatever, fix the levels, and then I'm going to load it back up. Nobody's doing that. Nobody's doing that. So when it comes to, trying to critique things, everything's a work in progress. Nothing's ever fully out when it's out. Like you gotta kind of give it some time. So, oh, I don't want no ads. Hold on now. We don't want that. I don't want that over there. Okay, so there's a couple things that I want to touch on because I think, the biggest reason why I don't really give my opinions or get into the Kanye conversation no more is because it gets so political. It's like I be really talking about the music, and then people want to just talk about everything else. They want to talk about, oh, the comments that he made, which half the time can't nobody tell me the comments that he made. I know, but if I watch the Drink Champs interview and you ain't watched the Drink Champs interview and you trying to tell me what he said and you can't tell me what he said, it's a conversation we're not even having at that point. But, long story short, Buddy was talking about how Gap was basically trying to steal the swag, sell $20 shirts in China without authorization, severed that deal. You had Adidas. Adidas, I'm sure everybody is familiar with the Yeezy slide. You've seen every Adidas slide that they've had. And then they came out with these, have several pair. They're like 55 bucks. The Adescents slide that looks exactly like the Yeezy slide. You basically doing a deal with somebody and then using your global networks to exploit. We got proof of this too because in Europe they're selling old uh, Yeezy Gap Balenciaga gear for 20 bucks, but that's only because Buddy was able to snatch it up when they was trying to get rid of it. Because when the deals was falling through, they do have channels like stores in China, like online stores that they were trying to sell a lot of the merch through along with Japan. And we don't see that stuff because we over here in the States. But when you're thinking about from a clothing perspective and a merch perspective, and then when you're thinking about it from a music perspective, you just kind of getting screwed. You know what I mean? As the artist, as the creator, and really, it's kind of like when Prince was like writing "slave" on his cheek. It's just like folks is out here telling you like if you're trying to be in the music industry or if you're trying to be, in the fashion industry, this is how you're gonna get used. And it's like don't nobody really care about that. You just focusing on him highlighting who's controlling the industries and how he's saying it. So, I don't really get too caught up in that. Like if it starts going off on that end, don't nobody really want no smoke in that debate. So I really kind of just be dead in that. I got my own uh thoughts on that. But I did want to highlight that when it comes to the live updates, uh, changes to the records, updates to records and things like that, Buddy has been doing this low key since 808 and Heartbreaks. Like if you got any early release of like RoboCop or Paranoid or it was really apparent on Life of Pablo when there was like versions that came out prior to the actual official release. Buddy's been doing this for a minute as far as just like putting stuff out there. The streets is like, oh, we rocking with this, or oh, this is messed up, and Buddy going back and fixing it and giving us the record that we want. And one of the other touches that I'll touch on is the collaboration with Cardi. Like I don't think people realize how big of an influence Cardi has on a lot of different artists right now. Like I seen an artist from Kansas City who is last outfit he done dressed up in looked just like Playboy Cardi. Like, got the whole goth look and everything with the hat. Not hating on it. You gotta do what you do what you do. Um, but I think there's a large influence that ain't talked about from that Cardi section. Even when you look at these last couple of albums, look at all the biggest records. If you look at Carnival, if you look at Fuck Some, if you look at uh, Genia, if you look at or Junior, whatever it's called. If you look at Off the Grid, like all these Cardi records, Fiend, Cardi record, you know what I mean? So it's like, and then when you look at live performances, in the rap circle, who's bigger than Cardi right now? I'll wait. You could say Kendrick, you could say Drake, you say whoever. You go, YouTube is here. You can review the footage. Nobody's bigger than Cardi right now on some live performance shit. So now that they are going around to these state, oh, and when you think about the Carnival record, people aren't making records for stadiums. And Buddy been doing that since graduation. He got that from YouTube. And if you think about YouTube, YouTube is the only band that's played in the Las Vegas sphere. And they got like 60 shows. They've been doing shows from like October all the way to April. So when you're thinking about making music on a global scale, especially coming from the urban side of things, it takes a lot of work. You know, you don't have the default of demographics on your side like Taylor Swift. Go look at some Taylor Swift footage. It's really cringy. Like, you know, like Shawty Can't Dance. Them songs is okay, you know. But go look at that tour footage, and I want to know if y'all really having a good time at the tour. Like, I that's what I want to know. I also went to the Beyonce tour. It was cool, you know. We was more watching her than her doing, you know, really performing. Plus, she's getting older. She got some kids. You know, she probably just trying to chill. She been performing for a hot minute. Um, but these older acts, I don't know if you went to go see the 50 Cent and Busta Rhymes tour. That was probably the best tour of last year. They really killed that tour, and you're really starting to see a resurgence of people who's really delivering these experiences and really got, you know, this music going. But overall, into the second week, I'll probably listen to the album maybe a hot 60 times, you know, just estimating. Also, please take Freddie Gibbs off of everything. Like, I think the only reason why he's surviving is because he got bars, but Buddy PR is terrible right now. They calling Buddy Spready Gibbs. Spready Gibbs. That's what they calling Buddy. Buddy down bad right now. He is clinging to Kanye for life, okay? Um, Also, too, shout out, Buddy getting his 10-year-old to have a charting single. And, you know, when you think about people getting their kids involved and stuff, and you look at that record that Drake had his child on, that was a hot mess. Like, I don't know why he put his kid out there like that, looking crazy. And, you know, young Northie out here got an anthem. Like, you know, I hated the record at first, but when I'm looking at how people react to it on social media and during these stadium events, like that shit is gold. And you got Ty Dolla Sign with a little minute and a half song at the end, really kind of tying it in, closing it out. Hard. But that's my synopsis on Vultures. I think the album is a very good album. You know, I'm excited for Vultures 2 and 3. One thing I can say is, you know, I am no longer a Kanye stan. I'm not even in that field no more. I am, however, a Cardi stan. And one thing I can say about Cardi is Cardi got me back on doing whatever I need to do to get the song. So like if the song ain't on streaming, let's say the song just out there floating on the internet, I am building catalogs, I'm syncing playlists manually, like real old school, real manual, really got me in my bag on my music. If it's on the internet, I'm gonna get it. It don't you don't need to release it on stream for me no more. I will get my hands on the record. I've also been buying a lot of vinyl lately. So all my favorite albums I've been getting on vinyl. I got about five future vinyl albums. He's the only artist with mixtapes on vinyl that I know of. You know, unless you know different. But yeah, uh, you know, let me know how you feel about the Vultures album. Leave your thoughts in the comments or replies, depending on which platform you're watching this on. And yeah, I will get back to you probably about 2 weeks after that Vultures 2 release. I don't expect it to be released on March 8th. That's my other pet peeve. My other pet peeve is like, why y'all be tripping when the album don't come out on time? Y'all ain't never had nothing delayed. Y'all ain't never had to push nothing back. I highly doubt we're getting Vultures 2 in 2 weeks. I would say we will get it in March. Don't know if we'll get it March 8th. And then, you know, Vultures 3 is supposed to be in April. Buddy's really coming for this summer. And on top of that, the other thing that you got to really pay attention to is Buddy is independent. These albums are independent. So now we're building a catalog of independent records, and you got merch for $20, and you got shoes for $20. You got Yeezy, got Balenciaga collaborate unreleased collaborations um, in the UK for $20. It's up. Like, if you thought Buddy was canceled, you got another thing coming because it's up right now. Like what Buddy said in Drink Chat, if you confused, if you just need a refresher, just go back and watch the two Drink Champs interviews. It's hard to kind of get into hour three of the Drink Champs interviews because when people be getting drunk and getting high, you know, half of it is cap at that point. But them first 2 hours of both of them interviews, Buddy really going in. But with Vultures too, they got a record with Dirk and Future called IG Models. That's why I pulled this clip up. That's probably one of my favorite records out of this batch of like 45 records. I can't wait for that record to hit the clubs. That's gonna do numbers. But yeah, I'll let y'all leave y'all opinions in the comments, and yeah, I will get another one to you soon. Toodaloo.